Who knew Philadelphia would be the Hyperloop hub? Check it out now on Toole Time. I'm Tom Toole. She's Jess Lion. I guess this is our intro line now because I haven't come up with anything better. And we are on Toole Time right now talking about some pretty cool stuff this week. I know these topics were super interesting to me. So the first one is that the Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission awarded a $2 million contract for a feasibility study for a cross-state Hyperloop with stops in Harrisburg as well as Wilkes-Barre and Scranton, but going from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. This is the second announcement about Elon Musk's Hyperloop. The first was going from D.C. to New York with stopping in Philadelphia and Baltimore in between. Do you think it's going to happen, Jess? And just what's your reaction about this? I'm pretty excited about this one.
I'm so excited about this. I do think it's going to happen. I don't know about when because I feel like there are so many things that they have to work out. Like number one being safety. It could potentially go up to 700 miles per hour, getting you to like Pittsburgh in like half an hour. So that's like really scary to me, going that fast. I mean, obviously like you travel by plane and things like that, but I just want to see like what's the worst case scenario plan if that was to, not something were to go wrong, what's going to happen? And then, like, I was reading a few other articles about it, and it was saying how it's, like, magnetic levitation in these tubes underground where there's no wind. So just how they would work that out in terms of going straight from Philly to Pittsburgh, because obviously there are, like, a lot of cities in between and a lot of mountains and things like that. So I think it's a super cool idea, and I want it to be here now, but they definitely have a lot of kinks to work out before.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a feasibility study, right? So,
yeah.
I guess my big question is why would anyone want to go to Pittsburgh in the first place? Like, you can't
go
to, like, Chicago or the Jersey Shore. The New York, D.C. line, that one makes a lot of sense. This is the second time it's been announced. I have actually, if you guys don't know who Dr. Peter Diamandis is, Google him. He is big on how the world is changing faster than we know it. I saw him about a year ago out in California, and he talked about there's a lot of companies trying to do this right now. It's not just Elon Musk and Hyperloop. Richard Branson's also doing the same thing. There's a couple different competitors, and it's going to be a race to see who wins here. In terms of transportation, I mean, the airline industries are horrible. Like flying, besides getting there fast, going through security, having to deal with the waiting, sitting in this small seat, a Hyperloop is going to be more like a train, only a lot faster. I mean, getting to New York in a half hour as opposed to driving there from Queens or Staten Island, it's going to take longer. So this is something that needs to happen for our country. I mean, you go into other countries, Japan especially, high-speed rail is all over the place.
Yeah.
Now, it's not Hyperloop, but we are pretty antiquated in the way we get around here. I mean, the Acela runs in like the Northeast, and that's it. I'm surprised this hasn't happened sooner, but again, there's a lot of government regulations they got to get through here.
I was reading this article, another one on this one, where it's talking about, well, what happens when you can get to New York in half an hour? Like, what happens to the real estate market? I mean, more people could potentially move here, and what would that do to our real estate market? It was just all these effects that need to be figured out. I thought was really crazy. Like, if you could work in New York and live outside of Philly, that would be awesome.
Well, it's going to stimulate the economy in a lot of ways, too, because if you look at the real estate market across the Northeast, Philadelphia is very undervalued compared to Boston, New York, D.C., just to name a few, even North Jersey, which, again, you're in Jersey. It's, there's all these different things that happen. So there's people that commute up to New York now, and they get on a train in Paoli or Ardmore. They get on the Amtrak, and they're riding that thing every day back and forth. And it's an hour and a half. It's not bad. I mean, the train to New York is fine.
Yeah.
But you're doing that every day. That's 3 hours out of your day. So that's 15 hours a week times 50. That's 150 hours you are sitting on a train. So what that comes out to is a couple days just wasting commute. So that alone is a reason this really kind of needs to happen. I'm excited that they're making progress. I don't really know how far they are because there was a tweet that came out last year. Elon Musk said he got tentative approval from the government. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? They couldn't verify it anywhere. the feasibility study is exciting, and it's obviously the goal is not to go to Pittsburgh. The goal is to from Pittsburgh go to Chicago, get out to the Midwest. That's how you get to the West Coast. So it's kind of a gateway, and it's again the Pittsburgh thing just kind of made me laugh.
Yeah, I'm excited.
But you get to the Jersey Shore in probably like 15 minutes.
That'd be amazing.
If it's a half hour to Pittsburgh, I mean, like
grab
literally.
some Mac and Mango's pizza real quick.
Well, but I mean, and that's something people literally sit in traffic, and it's painful, and it takes them 2 hours to get down there, but it's 60 miles away. So to me, this is a must happen. I'm excited we're on the forefront because we're going to benefit. So that's great for us.
We're on the same page.
That was an easy one. So the next topic, and I thought this was a pretty cool one, is if you haven't looked up the Broke Agent. So if you don't know who he is, he's at the Broke Agent on Instagram. He's an author. He just came out with a new book called Commission Impossible, Rogue Agent. And it's all about the things that happen in real estate that are insane, ridiculous. People don't even believe them when you tell people that aren't in the real estate industry. And it's kind of like an animated comic book. So my question to you, Jess, is are you going to buy the book or will you read it?
I was going through the Broke Agent's Instagram, and they have like on their highlight reel some like clips from the book, and I kind of got the gist. It's a bunch of little cartoons, and they make fun of different scenarios. So I probably won't buy the book or read it because I feel like a lot of it is already on the Instagram. But I feel like the Broke Agent, I mean, it just makes light of the industry, which you have to do. It's hilarious. There's a ton of different memes that they have on the page that are really, really funny. This one is, I was looking at it. It's like me at an open house when it's like dead and you have to go to the bathroom real quick, and then someone walks in and is like, "Hey, welcome." But it's like awesome. They're really funny ones. You guys should check it out.
So Jess will not be buying the book. Maybe
I won't.
The Broke Agent will send us a couple copies. I love this sort of stuff because I've had a couple friends, obviously more than a couple, but we've had some interesting real estate transactions. A very good friend of mine, we had one of the crazier ones where the agent started calling him directly after they terminated the agreement. They called his wife at work, and she's a professor somewhere. And it got to the point where, how do you not laugh about this? Because this is what goes on all the time. The particular agent had a spray tan.
Oh, my gosh.
He would hang out at bars all the time. He said he didn't like his new company's cards because he couldn't write down his number on the back. This is what he told my friend.
It sounds like a few of the agents from the book.
Well, because this is real stuff that happens. So you know who you are if you're watching. We have laughed about this many times. I saw a couple things that made me laugh about other agents because to me, it's not so much the process of dealing with clients. I mean, that can be funny, but the stuff other agents do because it's so easy to become a realtor is mind-blowing. So one of them, I really enjoyed this because I believe in writing properly and grammatical correctness, excuse me. See, there I just slipped, but at least I knew to correct it. Good morning to everyone except the agents who write their property descriptions in all caps. So if you've ever seen and there's like asterisks next to it.
They're like yelling at
5 exclamation points. It's like 4-bedroom home with 2 baths. And it makes no sense, right? So the other one, which I also found pretty funny, is if you don't watch Family Guy, you might not get it. So it's a picture of Meg, which is the one everyone makes fun of on the show. And I haven't watched this in years. And it's her saying, "You guys always act like you're better than me." And then it's the rest of the family dressed up in tuxedos, top hats, ball gowns, and it says Miami agents, New York City agents, and agents from California. And that is so true. They're like, well, in our market, it's very high priced. It's luxury. And these people are selling maybe 20 homes a year, which is a lot in that market. I mean, we're jamming out hundreds of transactions.
Yes, yeah.
So it's, but there is that kind of air
so
to them.
funny.
At least some of them. Right? I mean, I have some good friends that work in these markets. They don't act like that. So what I will say is if you are in real estate, buy the book. I'll buy the book because it's a great like coffee table book. You could probably sit it down somewhere. We have a similar book at our house. It's thank you notes from Jimmy Fallon, where he writes that on the skit on the Tonight Show, where it's like, thank you to ponytails because you make the back of women's hair look like horse butts or something like that. It's pretty funny when you're sitting down reading it. So I would say it's that kind of book. I appreciate the humor.
You're going to get it?
I'm going to get it.
Okay.
Maybe he'll send us some free copies. Maybe we can get them autographed. So talking to you, Broke Agent. But this is something that I feel like does the real estate industry a lot of good because there are so many insane things that happen. Probably more than other industries because you're dealing with the public and it's really easy to become an agent. So I love what the guy's doing here because it is so ridiculous, the things that happen, And then when I see other people go through it, it just makes me feel better.
It's lighthearted. It makes you feel good. You can't take life too seriously. I love that page. You guys should follow him.
Yeah, at The Broke Agent, we'll put that up. We're going to put up a couple of these as well. So the final topic here, the quote, the motivational portion, comes from someone I follow, Allie Love, Peloton instructor. I obviously am a big Peloton rider. I think everyone knows that if you look at my Instagram. And to me, it's like almost being like on a therapy session sometimes with some of the stuff she says on the rides.
That's nice.
Well, it's kind of motivational, right? And that's where this came from. So it's easy to start, but it's hard to finish. So what does that mean to you? Talk a little bit about that.
It's easy to start. It's hard to finish. When I first read this, I kind of felt, for me, the opposite, because I feel like it is so incredibly difficult to start something that you want to do. But once you get into a rhythm, then finishing is so much closer than it was before. So for instance, when I always bring this up, when I was running my half marathon, I'm running a full marathon, by the way, this year. Now it's on tape. I got to do it. But when I was running, like, it was so hard to get started, and those first few miles were so crazy difficult. But then mile 7, mile 8, mile 10, you're so close to the finish, so keeping going was just easier for me. So initially, I kind of felt the opposite. It's easier to start. But, I mean, it's harder to start. But, yeah, I understand what she's saying, where, you can make all these, like, New Year's resolutions, right?
Yes, we'll talk about that.
Yeah, you can make all these New Year's resolutions and say, I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to read 12 books this year. I'm going to do all this stuff. It's easy to say it and maybe start it, fall off. I mean, I don't make New Year's resolutions, but I know I wouldn't be on it.
New Year's resolutions are total crap, if you ask me. I mean, it's why would you wait until the new year to do something? I mean, It's March right now, right? So you're going to wait 9 months to come up with how you want to make a change? Like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So... but it's funny you bring that up, because the statistics on how many people actually follow their resolution, 25% of people actually stay committed after 30 days, and only 8% accomplish them. So that stat is a pretty funny one, because we're at the time of year where people have already given up. Like, I'm going to eat healthier. Health is a common one. What I get from that is it is easy to start. I mean, if you look at New Year's resolutions, for example, everyone kind of is gung-ho come January, getting in shape and doing all that. And then when it's February, they're like, I'll take a week or two break. And then it's March, and they weigh 10 pounds more than they did at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty common thing. And the older you get when it comes to health, I mean, you gain 4 or 5 pounds a year. That compounds pretty quickly. So It's really important to kind of stay on track with that.
I know.
Let's talk about the real estate industry, right? How many people come in here January 2nd, January 3rd, New Year, let's get rocking, I'm going to do some business, and then
March 14th?
March
Crickets.
14th, we're the only ones in the office right now, and that's not about our firm. This is everybody. And the funny thing is, these realtors don't realize the new year in real estate starts about November 15th, December 1st, because things aren't going to close that year. So, you could go on and on about how people start things and don't finish. So, like on the Peloton app, I have some friends that bought bikes that have had them for 2 years, and they've ridden it 15 times.
I'd be terrified that would happen to me.
So, I mean, it's the ultimate public accountability, and, I mean, the bike's not cheap.
Yeah.
So what are you doing with that? I mean,
not.
Neither are spin classes, but if you're not going to follow through and finish it, and this goes with anything, business goals, personal goals, whatever it is, getting it done, and done is better than perfect every time. There's no question there, but getting it done and actually following through with it is hard.
I like that.
In our business, I mean, you get to June or July, a lot of people stop working for the year.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, nothing's going to sell anymore. Spring market's over, which is ludicrous, but it happens all the time. So to finish out strong is really tough, but that's what's going to separate 92% of the population from the 8%.
Yeah, I think there's this one guy, there's only one person on my Facebook who set this, and he made it public. He set this resolution, and he followed through, and he kind of changed his whole lifestyle. But I can only remember one person. Everybody else I see working out, and I'm not calling anybody out because I don't put it up there either. But I feel like it's hard for people to stick with it past March.
Do we know
past
the guy?
February?
Who's the guy?
I forget his name. Eddie something. I forget his name. But he Transformation Station. It was amazing. But I like that when you ride the Peloton, she gives you those tidbits of wisdom and.
when you're sweating buckets and
you need something to push you through.
I mean, there's a couple times I've dry heaved on the bike, so I mean, but the point is though, it's super relevant in everyone's life. Like, it's not just working out. I mean, that's the easy comparison because everyone's New Year's resolution is getting in better shape. I mean, that's the majority of the resolutions. And
something else maybe.
Well, but you want to sell 50 homes a year. Mm-hmm. You're talking about running a marathon. I mean, that's, you have to do.
I haven't started yet, but I will.
What marathon are you doing?
One in November, Philly full.
So you got time, and finishing the race is tough. Are there people that quit the last time you did the half marathon? Did they come off the course?
I'm sure there was. I wasn't looking at anybody. I was looking at the asphalt.
Okay. Well, I mean, but I used to run cross country, and I would see people quit in the middle of the race. And that was a 5K, and so being able to come through and finish. I mean, that's what winners do. I mean, that's the bottom line. If you want to win, you want to be a high achiever. Executing your plan every day, no matter what, is the way to. And if you get off track, it's easy to get back on. But you got to recommit and finish. I think it's that simple. Because New Year's resolutions are a great example here. So that's all we got this week. A little bit of an update on one topic. We were talking about Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
And he sold more jerseys in the opening day for any new member of a team in the history of sports.
You got one?
I did not get one because I'm in my late 30s and I don't buy jerseys anymore. The point is, merchandise sales are doing pretty well.
I think, like I said, I think that it was a good decision for the city, but I feel like that price, I mean, obviously it weighs out. So, sports, for me, come on now.
Might be living in the wrong town. We'll catch you next week on Toole Time.